Pat, seeing something is not the only way to demonstrate it. And by the way, we can not only witness the effects of air, but you can see what's in air. And you've never blown up a balloon? That is an actual tactile demonstration that air exists.
Well, have you ever thought about when you walk? When you die, you don't walk anymore, but when your spirit is inside you, you can walk and talk and breathe and do all that stuff. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah. I have thought about that, and what I discovered in thinking and researching that is that medical science understands how it is that our bodies can get up and walk around, and it has nothing to do with invisible spooks.
Well, I brought 2 people out of comas when the doctor said they weren't going to come out because of my understanding of the astral world, because I've astral traveled before.
You have documentation of this?
Yeah. Why didn't you collect $1 million from the James Randi Educational
Foundation? Yeah, James
Foundation?
Randi has $1 million for you if you can prove that any of this crap is true. I've had just about enough of this, Pat. When the moment you can prove that any of this stuff that you're telling us about is actually true and not just the product of your lurid imagination, that's the point when you can write a book about it and not be just ripping people off by selling them your imaginings and calling it real.
He never died on the cross to save anybody from anything.
Excuse me?
Yeah, he never died on the cross. And there's a principle. See, if you understand principles of life,
this is according to your fantasy that you had of seeing the sea.
Out of your body and come
what
back.
is wrong with you?
Pat, we're done.
Why?
Because
you're a loon.
You don't want to understand.
Look, no. We've been very patient with you. We've been very patient with you, Pat, to give us a single.
A lot of time trying to really understand realities. And if you read in Ecclesiastes, it tells you just like it's a principle. Like if you have a baby,
hey, you know what? Captain Kirk asked why God needed a starship. You're done.
Wow.
We just don't want to understand
clearly. We were very patient with you, Pat. We gave you all the time in the world to give us a single reason why we should take the stuff you were telling us seriously.
And instead of actually offering or attempting to understand, all you did was jump from, well, I witnessed the crucifixion, and come on now, who's not going to think you're like crazy when you start saying stuff like that? And the only evidence is that you experienced it.
And then I actually called her a loon, which, I'll admit, there's a possibility that I'm wrong. There's a possibility that Pat's not a loon, but I'm going with my carefully calculated reaction to the way that she presented herself.
Yeah, there's a very good chance that Pat is accurate and has accurate information, and everything that she experiences is real and maps to reality.
Yeah.
And there's also a chance that the schizophrenics and people who hallucinate are actually seeing a realm that you and I can't actually see, or at least I can't see. I don't know what you can see. But until it's demonstrated, there's no reason for anybody else to believe it. And we are actually rationally justified in disregarding your anecdotal, testimonial, personal experiences.
Yeah, and not just us, but what really got me is she's written a book.
Yeah.
So she is going to take money from other people on the basis of her fantasies.
It may be a free book, a free ebook. We don't know.
Okay.
But if you are taking money for this, you should feel pretty.
You're an irresponsible kook if you're taking money for it.
But that's all right. We'll move on. We got Aaron in Indianapolis, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Just to be clear from the outset, I am an atheist. I've read, I don't know how many books against the existence of God and about evolution and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And something really funny happened. Like about a week ago, I was at a birthday party, and the father-in-law of the little boy. A grandfather of the boy who was turning 4. Anyway, he was given a prayer, and he prayed to our Heavenly Father to bless the food and stuff. And it was like, I knew it wasn't based on anything real, but I still had this warm feeling go through my heart like I would back when I was a Christian.
Sure.
So it's like it was a conditioned response, or maybe I was empathizing with what they felt or something. Like,
yeah.
Do you guys still feel that? I mean, did you go through a period where you still felt things like that, or do you go into a church and have the same feelings and then know it's not real?
For me, well, go ahead.
But I never got that any more from church than I did from, say, music that I liked a lot, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it was the discovery of what Jeff just said, because having had those types of feelings in prayer or in church while everybody's in song and things like that, and then discovering that I got those same or similar, had those similar experiences from listening to secular music that the church would be opposed to, and from watching movies and stories. And Beth is here, and she can tell you that there are lots of things that will make me teary and give me an experience just because they're beautiful, and just because, you know, I am empathizing with other people. I'm not some misanthropic cynic. I care about other people. And so depending on, and words have power, not in and of themselves. It's not, you know, these abstract, but our usage of language can be incredibly powerful. And that's what I think preachers tap into. That's what statesmen tap into. It's the reason why we have people that we like to listen to, because they speak to us not on some other metaphysical level, but they speak to us in a way that really connects significantly. And that can happen whether you're in prayer or whether you're just in a casual discussion. It's all about being human and connecting with other humans.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny because as the guy was giving the prayer, it was like I thought that I should feel nothing. So when that started to happen, my logical mind was going, "Stop! It's not real! It's not real!" So I don't know. Maybe that was an irrational reaction, but like I didn't want to just like.
I think
I don't know why that happened.
I think being conscious of what's going on is healthy for learning. I mean, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself. You felt something. Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Enjoy the feelings, but, you know, when you're deciding what is actually real and what's not, then, you know, think about all the implications and not just your feelings.
Right. I wasn't thinking. I mean, it just kind of struck me that it sort of reminded me that religious belief is kind of in a different part of the brain than the purely logical part, and, you know, maybe, I don't know. Never mind.
Well, I think when you start talking about parts of the brain, it might be a mistake. I mean, there are certain areas that we know contribute to different things, but religion, movies, music, all art and entertainment, those things are trying to tap into all the parts of the brain that respond to that sort of thing. And good art and successful art is the one that taps into it the best. And I think one of the reasons that religion has continued to persist is because it not only offers people this hope, this false hope, that, as I would say, but it gives them the emotional experience and the camaraderie and the fellowship that we all, or most of us, tend to enjoy.
Okay. I think that'll. Well, thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Aaron.
Yep.
Do you have something to add on that?
Yeah, I think I'm especially this issue of, you know, art versus religion is especially important to me, because I'm an artist and I'm a game designer and I make my living, you know, entertaining people with fantasy. And it's important to me that I do that responsibly and not take advantage of people and say, no, well, not only does this, you know, this scene that I've drawn, you know, evoke feelings in you, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
There's something really no, it's a picture. It's an idea. And so when I hear folks like Pat, who've blurred that line, it really bugs me.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's one thing. I mean, of course, anybody has the right to live by the dictates of their conscience, and, you know, we're not saying that you can't believe whatever your conscience dictates. It's just, you know, we'd prefer to live in a world where people are largely rational and would care more about whether or not their beliefs are true and how they go about demonstrating them.
So I agree that everybody has the right to believe what they want. Where I think they cross the line is when they take a thing they can't actually demonstrate as true and then market that.
Yeah.
That is not them individually believing what they believe.
Right.
That's them irresponsibly taking advantage of others.
Yeah.
And that's called fraud.
They become an advocate without justification, and
Yeah.
therefore they are subject and deserve
Right.
criticism.
Right. It's a fine point, but an important one.
So we get AJ in Philadelphia. How are you?
How you doing, Matt? I'm talking to you, aren't I?
That's Matt and Jeff, yeah.
Hey, actually, yeah, Jeff, I haven't heard about you, nothing personal, but Matt, my cousin of mine, is a huge fan of yours, and he wanted me to give you a call and have a discussion with you about this particular topic. He's a hardcore atheist, if you will, and we've had many weeks and months of discussions about God and how I rationalize it. And I think I'm right. I think he's being short-sighted, and that's why I'm calling you now.
Are you admitting that you rationalize, or was that just his word for it?
No, he's saying I'm not being rational, or it doesn't make quite sense. He's saying it's circular in reasoning. And now let me explain to you my understanding of God. I think you're right, and I think science is right. When I say science, I mean Hawking or Dr. Docking, so on. You know, the Grand Design, that book that just came out, saying that God isn't required to get involved in creation. I completely support that as someone who believes in a noble God, someone who, to me, a noble God is a God that is almost non-existent, because the same effect, the same manifestation of an unnoble God is equivalent to some God that doesn't even exist.
Sure, and Tracy did a whole series with invisible transcendent Dyson jars. The unknowable is indistinguishable from the non-existent.
Absolutely.
It is completely indistinguishable. So are you saying you believe in an unknowable God?
I say I do, yes.
If you acknowledge that what you believe in is indistinguishable from something that is not real, then you have to know that you can't make a distinction between it not being real and your believing. I mean, what is the justification for belief in the
Excellent
unknowable?
question. I can answer that.
Okay.
The answer to that is I think that even though God is unknowable, he has, that everything has happened by chance, but this chance is really purposeful, okay? So that God has guided humanity through the last, let's just say, 6,000 years. And I'm saying that because that's all we have recorded history of is 6,000 years. But he's guided humanity through manifestations that he sends to mankind to help guide so that we don't kill ourselves off the planet.
Okay, hang on. You started off by saying that you think that everything occurred by chance, but it's purposeful chance. Why do you think that?
I think that because of the founder of the religion that I'm referring to, which I'll just say religion next because I think that's not the point here. The founder of that religion has stated very clearly that all the mentions, every religion that has ever mentioned God, referred to God, prayed to God, was actually referring to him. And that he's come now to unite all mankind.
So you're saying you believe it because somebody told you so?
I think he's credible enough for someone like me to accept.
Why do you think this individual is credible?
Well, because everything that